These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan,
it's been a good season.
They cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried.
Charles Barkley didn't hold back. He dropped a brutal truth bomb on Angel Reese and others the moment the WNBA concluded there was no fan misconduct or racial abuse during the Indiana Fever game. Some of these players need to quit being jealous and start appreciating what Caitlin Clark is doing for this league, Barkley snapped. But why was he so fired up? Why defend Clark so passionately while others seem to be targeting her? What's really going on behind the scenes? Let's pull back the curtain on this storm and uncover Barkley's explosive defense.
If you got people in a room, if you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
Charles Barkley unleashed his fury the moment reports surfaced that the WNBA was investigating claims of fan misconduct and racism at the Fever's season opener. This doesn't help the league at all, he said, frustration pouring through every word. Barkley didn't hesitate. He questioned the timing and purpose, branding the accusations as a distraction. Instead of focusing on Caitlin Clark's incredible triple-double and Indiana's thrilling victory, attention had veered off course, and Barkley wasn't having it.
So it's just petty jealousy, and it's really unfortunate because, and the thing that's really bad right now, we're not even talking about basketball. That's the problem that I have with the whole thing.
To Barkley, the uproar felt like static drowning out the WNBA's momentum, and he made his stance unmistakable. The league launched the investigation soon after the Fever demolished the Chicago Sky, 93-58, probing claims that Indiana fans hurled racial insults at Angel Reese. On the surface, it sounded serious, but Barkley wasn't convinced. "Where's the proof?" he pressed. With a dream start to the season in full swing, he was stunned this controversy had become the center of attention.
But we're not, what's bad, instead of talking about all the good things happening for the WNBA, we're talking about negativity. And all publicity, that used to be that old saying, all publicity is good publicity. No, it's not. Not when you're a niche sport trying to get the consumers to buy into your product.
Barkley's doubt painted a sharp picture. He believed resentment, not facts, may have sparked this whole firestorm. From the beginning, his criticism stretched beyond the investigation, targeting players like Reese, whom he accused of fueling drama instead of spotlighting the league's rising success. Barkley's emotional defense of Caitlin Clark, now one of the WNBA's most electric figures, wasn't just about loyalty. It was about protecting the momentum she was building. And Barkley wasn't going to stay silent.
Petty jealousy, and it's really unfortunate because what she's done for the game, listen, I believe in Ricky Hazen, but some of the criticism has gotten overboard.
In that segment, Barkley didn't just talk. He backed it up with numbers. Caitlin Clark's impact, he argued, was undeniable. Draft viewership up 400%, ticket sales surging 93%. Those numbers? That's Steph Curry stuff, Barkley exclaimed, drawing a bold parallel. He recalled how Curry revolutionized the NBA, not by stealing the spotlight, but by growing the game for everyone. Steph didn't trigger envy. He made people rich, Barkley said sharply, and he dared the WNBA to recognize the same opportunity with Clark.
The girls got to grow up and you know what? I can go at her hard on the basketball court, but the visibility and stuff she's bringing to the league is going to fill all our wallets up in the long run.
Barkley wasn't just praising Clark. He was calling her a turning point, a once-in-a-generation moment for the WNBA. If the league played its cards right, this was golden. But then things escalated. He didn't stop at support. He blasted the backlash, calling it fueled by envy. "There's some petty jealousy here," he scoffed, voice tinged with sarcasm. Instead of seeing her as a threat, he argued, they should be saying, "Thank you, Caitlin Clark, for making the world care about us. His anger? Impossible to ignore.
But the stuff toward her is petty and jealous. And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But there's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousness.
To Barkley, this wasn't just about false accusations. It was a symptom of something deeper inside the league. Too many players, he said, were busy tearing each other down instead of building together. Rather than applauding Clark's impact, some seemed more eager to change the story. And Barkley? He wasn't just annoyed at the accusations. He was furious. The WNBA had let this distraction steal the spotlight from the Fever's explosive win and Clark's triple-double debut. His frustration? It was boiling over.
Well, like I say, it's just a lot of petty jealousy out there, and it's really unfortunate. Taken away from the women's game. Because no matter what sport, if you're talking more about something other than the sport, so anything, this is just taken away from the game, in my opinion.
Meant to ignite the season with hope, were now stained by an avoidable cloud of controversy. This league's got enough problems, Barkley said grimly, shaking his head. We don't need players going after each other. His words cut deep. What kind of message were they sending to fans? That drama mattered more than what happened. On the hardwood? That headlines trumped highlights? Barkley didn't just ask the question. He demanded the league do better. But would they listen?
Just as suspected, nothing. And that other fan base, the old fan base, came after the Fever players, Fever fans.
By the end of his fiery monologue, Barkley wasn't mincing words. Some of these players, he said, pausing like a storm about to strike, need to stop being jealous and start being thankful. Caitlin Clark, he emphasized, was doing what many couldn't, bringing real eyes and real energy to the league. His raw honesty wasn't just bold. It captured what fans and analysts alike had been whispering. And with the investigation's verdict about to drop, Barkley's stance rang louder than ever.
So it's really unfortunate, and it's just, and I like the way she's handling. She hasn't said anything because you got so many fools out here who got opinion, unfortunately, negative opinions on television, on radio, and things like that. So I'm glad she's staying above the fray.
The WNBA finally dropped the results of their investigation, and the message was loud and clear. There was no evidence of fan misconduct or racial abuse during the Fever's season opener. None. The league had interviewed fans, questioned arena staff, and combed through every second of footage. In the end, the accusations fell apart. For many, this wasn't just a verdict, it was validation. Especially for those who'd been unfairly judged, this moment hit like long overdue justice. But would the damage linger?
And you old fans, you ones accusing us of racism and all that, y'all just took an L, and a big one. However, the league is also taking a big L because there's no apologies to any fans whatsoever on this totally BS statement released by the WNBA.
The moment the investigation was announced, it ignited a firestorm. Allegations claimed Indiana fans hurled racist abuse at Angel Reese, and instantly, chaos followed. The WNBA's swift response didn't calm the storm. It poured gasoline on it. Fever fans were furious, and who wouldn't be? They felt smeared, like their passion had been twisted into something ugly without proof. And just like that, instead of honoring a thrilling opener and Clark's triple-double, the narrative was hijacked by controversy.
Yeah, you found nothing. That's great. That's accurate. Guess who told you you would find nothing? The entire Indiana Fever fan base said you weren't going to find anything.
But here's where it all got worse. When the WNBA shared the investigation's conclusion, they didn't apologize. They said the claims weren't supported, but offered no "we're sorry" to fans who'd been dragged through the dirt. Think about that. The Fever supporters weren't just exonerated, they were wrongly accused for days. And yet, silence, no acknowledgement, no statement of goodwill. That void? It didn't go unnoticed. And for many, it hurt more than the accusations themselves.
The WNBA is committed to fostering a safe and inclusive environment for everyone and will continue to be vigilant in enforcing our fan code of conduct. Where is the apology to your fans?
And it didn't end there. The lack of an apology, the league's refusal to repair the damage, it lit a fuse beneath the fan base. Supporters felt betrayed. Some even spoke of boycotting games beyond Indiana. The accusations had done more than just stir up headlines. They'd fractured trust. All this when the league should have been unified around momentum, excitement, and a brand new season filled with promise. Instead, a silent rift was growing, and it wasn't going away.
But this league that has never turned a profit decided to accuse their own fans of racism. Indiana Fever, as an organization, you're culpable here too. I mean, you are.
Of course, Charles Barkley wasn't going to stay quiet. He'd criticized the league long before the results dropped. But when the investigation confirmed his instincts, he unleashed. "You let baseless claims steal the headlines," he said, frustration rising. The league had lost control of its own story, he argued, and failed to shield its most loyal fans. For Barkley, it wasn't about being right. It was about the WNBA protecting its integrity. And he wasn't done yet.
I have a suspicion that outside of Indiana Fever game, there may be a boycott of every other game in your league. Of course, judging by the ratings, sometimes it looks like there already is a natural one.
This wasn't just another sports scandal swirling in headlines. Barkley said this was about accountability, about where the league puts its attention. You've got a rising superstar in Caitlin Clark making this league unmissable, he said, his voice sharp. And this is the storyline? The frustration in his tone was undeniable. While Clark was redefining what was possible, the league had allowed the focus to drift into controversy, and Barkley made sure everyone knew it.
I don't know what it is with the old fandom. I don't know what it is about fans of other teams, but man, they didn't want regular sports fans to enter their arena. We're here. We're here. And we don't take things like this lying down. We don't stay quiet.
The deeper frustration circled around a much bigger question. How does the WNBA plan to grow if moments like this hijack the spotlight? Instead of celebrating Clark's thrilling breakout or Indiana's 93-58 beatdown, fans found themselves arguing in circles. The air was thick with distraction. What should have been a celebration became a mess, because the real headlines were drowned out by noise that never should have existed.
I mean, they can't handle criticism. Again, a statement was made about hostile environment. Visiting arenas are hostile environments, and they have always known to be so.
The league's biggest failure? Letting jealousy fester when unity was needed most. While Clark was igniting a firestorm of excitement, the focus shifted to drama and division. But then came the twist, the investigation results, and with them, Barkley's voice echoed louder. His stance wasn't just validated, it was cemented. Everything he'd been saying, suddenly it wasn't opinion, it was fact.
Never forget, this BS investigation led to thousands of people spewing hate speech towards Indiana Fever players.
Every warning Barkley had issued, his frustration, his plea for unity, his insistence that Clark's rise was a gift, now hit harder. The league's findings didn't just end the debate. They proved Barkley right. He wasn't defending Clark to stir controversy. He was trying to keep the league on course. And now, the fallout only highlighted his point. Stop the infighting before the momentum slips away.
I mean, let's keep it real. As my shirts all came in and my cap and all that, me bought a league pass. We're funding this whole thing now. We're funding it.
Why is Caitlin Clark under fire when she's lifting the league higher than ever? That's the question Barkley's been shouting nonstop. And the numbers are impossible to argue with. A 180% surge in viewership, draft ratings up 400%, ticket sales climbing by 93%. This isn't just progress, it's a movement. And what's powering it? One name, one player, Caitlin Clark. That's what's making the backlash so baffling.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Barkley's message is blunt. This wave won't last forever. For decades, the WNBA fought to escape the shadows. Low ratings, minimal coverage, dwindling seats. Then came Caitlin Clark. And like lightning, the league was suddenly everywhere. On screens, on social media, on fans' lips. Highlights flooded, timelines. Jerseys flew off shelves. She's not just talented, Barkley said, locking eyes with the camera. She's the one making the world finally watch. That spotlight? That's where the friction really lies.
She and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1.
But not everyone's thrilled about it. Some WNBA veterans have spent years grinding to elevate the league, only to watch a second-year player steal the spotlight. Barkley doesn't dismiss their frustration. He understands what it takes to earn respect at the pro level. Still, he's adamant. Jealousy helps no one. This isn't about being pushed aside, he said bluntly. It's about Clark making everyone shine brighter.
This girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA.
She turned the Fever were 1-8. They have a winning record now.
But the number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
He put it into perspective. When Steph Curry revolutionized the NBA with his three-point shooting, his peers didn't resent him. Instead, teams flourished, ratings soared, deals grew, fans multiplied. Barkley made the comparison without hesitation. Steph changed the game, he said. Now Caitlin Clark is doing that for the WNBA. To him, she's not just exciting, she's essential. A lightning rod the league can't afford to ignore.
Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were to continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year.
And Barkley's not just talking hype, he's pointing to results. Clark's arrival is opening floodgates. Sponsors once indifferent are now eager to invest. Media outlets that rarely acknowledged women's basketball suddenly have her on their front pages. Even people with no deep ties to the game, they're learning her name. She's not just playing, she's expanding the league's reach at every level.
This is going to be history. It's like what I told her, that's pretty epic that we get to watch her, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a star.
This is what leagues pray for, a cultural shift. Barkley didn't mince words. It's not just about one star, he said. It's about the whole league winning. More attention on Clark means more attention on everyone. That means higher wages, better TV deals, and maybe, just maybe, a real change in how women's sports are viewed. The moment is here. What the league does with it, that's the real test.
Ticket sales grew in 2023 by 16% from 2022. Ticket sales have grown by 93% in 2024. What that means is without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA would have taken till 2029 or 2030 to get to where Caitlin Clark has gotten them today.
But Barkley had one more point, and it was fiery. He didn't dance around the drama within the league. He called it what it is, self-sabotage. Right now, he argued, every player should be lifting Clark up. She's handing them the spotlight they've been craving, he said, voice sharp with urgency. If they tear her down instead of sharing the moment, they're throwing away the best shot this league has ever had.
Viewership. Regular season viewership, it grew by 20% in 2023. It's grown by 180% now, which means it would take another 5 or 6 years to do what Caitlin Clark has done. So between draft day viewership, which is up 400% to 40%, between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%, between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%, what Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years.
Barkley's message wasn't just heartfelt. It was calculated. He knows momentum in sports is fragile. And if the WNBA gets caught up in infighting, they risk losing a historic opportunity. The question now? Can the league harness this momentum, or will it let the noise drown out progress? Barkley insists, success hinges on unity. If the players rally around what Clark represents, the WNBA could reach heights no one imagined.
So yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now. And this is just data, this is just objective facts. Be mad with data, please do not be mad at me.
In Barkley's eyes, the WNBA's path forward can't be built on resentment. It must be built on inclusion. He's convinced the future lies in supporting the athlete who's already proven she can elevate an entire league. The truth is undeniable. Caitlin Clark isn't just chasing personal greatness. She's opening doors for everyone who shares the court with her and beyond.
And I think it's really unfair because, man, she got you look at the ratings for the draft for the WNBA, she's making everybody money. And I think she's got some deals. Good for her. I mean, the girl just set the record for the most points ever scored in college. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Caitlin Clark isn't just an elite talent. She's a generational force poised to reshape women's basketball. Barkley didn't downplay it for a second. Her influence stretches far past stat sheets. She's moving ticket prices, driving viewership, and bringing an unprecedented spotlight to a league long hungry for mainstream attention. Her presence is rewriting the narrative in real time.
The money we talked about, the Dak said he don't care about, that comes from television revenue. That is how all of this works. It is an entertainment product. You mentioned the numbers, you mentioned the ratings, all that matters. That's how the sponsors come, that's how the marketing dollars come. That's how you get paid, that's how you get charter flights, that's how you get better facilities, that's how you get better paid coaches, that's how you get paid. All of this comes together and you need a star. And she is the star.
And this moment, it's bigger than Clark. Barkley framed it as a collective chance for the WNBA to evolve. If the league and its players stop seeing her rise as a threat and instead unite around it, the ceiling disappears. Just imagine what's possible with everyone pushing in the same direction. With Clark at the forefront, leading the movement,